Hey guys, this is Kevin in Tampa, and what I'd like to do today for the next few minutes is go over what happened to me. I had a heart attack, and I'm doing this because maybe we can help some other people out there. Basically, with what I went through and some of the signs and symptoms I had. Let me tell you, this is today's date is. I think December 18th, December 18th, 2019, and I live in Pinellas Park, Florida. Um, I'm 61 years old, and I don't really have any kind of background in my family about heart attacks, heart disease, anything like that. Most of us are pretty healthy. Uh, f- uh, I'm one of five kids, and we're all still living. We're all about the same age. I have a couple, an older sister and an older brother, and I have a younger sister and a younger brother. One out of five. But let me tell you what happened here. Um, I got some notes. I'm going to try and remember everything I supposed to remember. But so my heart attack was on November 3rd, okay, of this year. And I should have done this a couple weeks ago, but I got tied up. And I wasn't going to do it, but now I'm going to do it. So November 3rd is when I had my heart attack, which was a Sunday morning. I remember eating breakfast, and right after I had breakfast, well, let me go back the prior day. Saturday afternoon, I had a little bit of discomfort in my chest, and I I didn't think anything of it, but it was just a little funny. I had no pain; it was just a little discomfort in the middle of my chest. Other than that, I felt okay. I really didn't think anything of it. Then, like I said, Sunday morning I had breakfast about 9:30, 10 o'clock. After breakfast, the pain was still there, and it wasn't really pain; it was discomfort. And I started. Um, my wife said I got a little bit pale and a little sweaty. And then I had this little discomfort in my chest. I wouldn't say chest pains. I wouldn't say it was just discomfort. It was like something that was in my chest that was just, just a little bit of discomfort in the center of my chest. I didn't think it was a heart attack. I really didn't. And so um, I decided to call 911. And I don't know why I decided to do that. I just did. I think it was a God thing. But I called 911. My wife did, and they came over here, and they said they came and they did an EKG on me, and they gave me some aspirin and some nitroglycerin, and they told me, that I was having a heart attack, and I felt fine. I was awake. I had no pain. I just was little bit of pale, a little sweaty, but nothing like the Hollywood style. Like I grabbed my chest and then just croaked and dropped. It wasn't like that at all. So um, it was just it was very minor, but they said I was having a heart attack, which I didn't believe them. I really didn't believe them. So they put me in the ambulance, and this is the first ambulance ride I've ever been in. Um, and so they hauled me down to the hospital, Northside Hospital in St. Pete. And I remember I've never been in an ambulance ride. It was kind of crazy. It was real weird. I mean, I wasn't even thinking I had a heart attack, and I was just going to have them come and look at my vitals, and I wasn't planning to go to the hospital. I just wanted someone to check me out. And my wife said, "Look, if they're coming with an ambulance, they're going to the hospital." So originally I wanted to go to Tampa General, but it was too far away. So they took me to Northside, which is close, about 6 miles from here, about 6 miles. And so I got, so we, my wife followed me. We got over to the hospital. They took me out of the back of the ambulance, and they put me right into the emergency room. And all of a sudden, there is, swear to God, there's about 16 people in there. They're shaving me. They're shaving my chest, my groin. They're putting tubes, in me and hooking me up for IVs and everything else. It was craziness. I swear, it was a whole bunch of people around me, like it was some emergency, which I still didn't think I was having a heart attack. I felt fine. I was completely normal as far as except I have a little bit of discomfort in my chest. So they took an EKG again, and they said I was having a heart attack, and I still didn't believe it. Then the cardiologist came over, and he actually showed me, my blocked. They showed me the readings again, and they showed me the blocked artery. And it was blocked, and at that time I believed it, but it wasn't right away. I couldn't believe I was having a heart attack. I'm not that old. I'm in pretty good health. Now let me give you a little background on my health, though. I am 5'10" and a half. When I got the heart attack, I was 233 pounds at 5'10" and a half. So I was overweight a little bit. I'd say about 30 pounds overweight. My diet's always been crappy. I love frozen food. I like fast food. I like donuts. I like all that, and I hate exercising. I haven't been the only thing I like is maybe walking once in a while. I don't really like running too much. Biking, I used to bike when I was in high school, but I really don't like exercise. I don't like moving around too much. So anyway, so that's kind of and I don't smoke, and I'm not diabetic. Okay. So anyway, that was my weight. It was 233 at 5'10" and a half, and that's when I had my heart attack. So I was a little bit overweight, but my diet is really what got my heart attack, I believe, and I do have some stress. But mainly it was my diet. I just don't eat very well. I love fast food and all that kind of stuff. I did not know that salt was such a big deal as far as your health. Everything has salt in it, which I learned. I've learned a lot since I've been in and out of the hospital. But salt is your enemy because it does a lot of damage to you. It makes basically you retain water, and there's just a bunch of stuff. Salt's really bad. So they got me on a different diet now, and I'm basically walking 3 20-minute walks a day. And then they got me going to some cardiac rehab, which I haven't started yet. But so let me finish my story. So, okay. So what happened is I got in, like I said, the emergency room. They had all these people around me. They said I was having a heart attack. And then the first thing they want to do is put some stents in me. So I had 100% blockage in one, 80 on another, and 70 on the other. So when they did the stent to unblock the one that's 100%, they put it was like an hour and a half procedure. I was still awake. My wife was in the waiting room at that point, just making some calls for the family. So they put 3 stents in me, and that opened up that artery. And the cardiologist showed me the before and after, and it was really, that's when I saw I was having a heart attack. Really after I got the stents in me, and he showed me the before and after. I still didn't really believe it until after they put the stents in. I didn't have no symptoms. So they put the stents in. They put 3 in, and then when they did that, they found the other 2 arteries, and that's when they said, well, we might have to do a cabbage on you, quadruple or triple bypass surgery, and so we didn't make that decision right away. So when they got done with the stents, I went back into intensive care. I was in intensive care for 2 weeks. because they put the dye in and everything else, and then we couldn't really make a decision right away. It took 2 or 3 days because we had to get the dye out of me, and then we had to consult my family members and the doctor more, and we had to decide if we wanted to do some more stints or we had to do the open heart surgery. And just the, just thinking about open heart surgery, I mean, it's pretty scary. I just, just the thought of it was kind of got to me a little bit, because it's pretty scary. But after 2 or 3 days, we decided to go with the open heart surgery instead of having these stents in me, because I'd had to have about 8 or 9 stents in me altogether, and they were not, they weren't as permanent as having open heart surgery. So what they did is we decided to do the open heart surgery, but we had to have all the dye and some medication I was on to be taken out, and we had to switch medications before we actually did the open heart surgery. So that's why I was in the intensive care about 8 days before they did the surgery, because I came in on Sunday and they didn't do it until about 8 days later, because the surgery was on the 11th. So I came in on the 3rd of November. I had the open heart on the 11th. So that time period, we had to wait. We had to make a decision about the heart surgery, and then we had to change medication. We couldn't do it right away because we had to have the old medication come out of me. I had to do with like blood thinners and things like that. They had me on. I had a lot of water, so they put me on some water pills, things like that. So we had the surgery done on the 11th of. It was Veterans Day, November 11th. So the surgery was about 4 hours, and I don't remember much really. They had to shave my whole body. I had to take a shower, and then they dressed me, and I couldn't eat for about. I had to fast for the last after midnight. I couldn't eat anymore, but they shaved me down the day before completely. Got me all clean, and then they rolled me in there, but they got me up about 5 o'clock in the morning, and then the surgery was they started around 6:30 or 7, and I got out about 11:30 or 12. So, and by that time, my brother who flew in from California was there, and my wife and my other brother, they're out in the waiting room, and they took a picture of me coming out of surgery, and I had tubes in me, and it was I've never seen such a awful picture of me, because they are still on the breathing machine, and things like that, and it looked really bad. So they took a picture of me, and then they got me into the recovery room, and then I was there for about 4 days, and I got discharged about 4 days after my surgery. I got taken out the 15th, and I had surgery the 11th. Okay, so that's what happened with that. And then what they did is, obviously I have to change my diet. So I got to stay away from salt and fat, things like that. So they want me to eat fruits and vegetables and stay away from salt, and what else is bad? I can't think of it right now. But anyway, and then I got to do my walking every day, and then I had some breathing exercises I had to do. I did that for about 3 or 4 weeks. The staff was so nice, because the night I got out of surgery, I had a rough night. I had trouble breathing, and it was pretty rough. I remember my brother being there, and in the waiting room, and in my room there, and I was out of it. I don't even remember anybody being there. When they were leaving, they said goodbye, and they said, "Why are you leaving so early?" I just was out of it. So the recovery was pretty much all day. I got out at noon. I didn't I really was out of it until that evening, which was like 4 or 5 hours later. But they had some breathing tubes in me, and then later that night they had to pull them out, and it was crazy. So I don't know if you can see this, but this is my incision. You can see it right there. I've been told this is one of the best incisions that he's ever seen at my regular doctor, but this one's a very good one. The guy was really talented as far as his surgical abilities. So that is my incision there. You really, it looks pretty good only after 5 weeks. I go back to work January 2nd, so I've been out of work almost 2 months. They got me. I couldn't drive for a month afterwards either. But that's the incision, which I've been told that it's one of the best ones they've seen at my regular doctor. He looked at it, he said, "Boy, what a great job they did." So they had to basically break my breastbone, and then they had to wire it back. I'm just wondering when I get down to the airport, will I get, like a metal detector? Would I be able to go through a medical detector too? But like right now, I just coughed. I still have pain in my chest, so I got to be real careful. I can't lift more than like 10 pounds. But that's my incision right there. So you take so that's that. I'm trying to think what else I want to talk about. So when I left the hospital, I lost about 25 pounds. A lot of water weight. So they had me peeing all the time. So anyway, I was in there from the 3rd to the 11th, and then I'm still on disability, short-term disability, and I go back to work on January 2nd. So I'm making this video, like I said, for people that want to know what it is to go through this kind of surgery. The medications they have me on, I'm on 8 medications, and this is what they came up with. Mine were a little different because I get chronic headaches, and when I was in the hospital, they wouldn't let me take Excedrin, extra strength Excedrin for my chronic headache. So they gave me something else in lieu of that, and and I forgot the name of the drug, but Percocet. Yeah, I was on Percocet for the pain for my headaches because I couldn't take Excedrin. So what happened is they gave me that because the Excedrin is not good if I take too much of that. So I took Percocet for my headaches. I took a couple of those pills a day. So what they got me on is they got me on aspirin, they got me on Lipitor, they got me on Celexa for my depression, Plavix. They got me on Advair Discus for my breathing. I have a sleep apnea, okay? And let's see what else they got me on. They got me on, let's see here. Oh, here we go. They got me on Flomax because I have enlarged prostate. And they got me on Protonix, which is a acid reflux medicine. And they have me on Lopressor. So they got me on 8 meds. So afterward, I got home and I had to take it easy. I had to get help, like taking a shower a little bit. I had no problem with the going to the bathroom or anything like that. About after 2 weeks, when I got back, I had to go back to my doctor again. He checked up on me. I looked fine, and then I went back just last week for the second visit with my doctor, the guy who did the surgery on me, and he said I look fine. He gave me a good bill of health. He gave me a note going back to the work. And then I went to my cardiologist, and I looked pretty good, everything up there. They're in the same building. So I saw my cardiology once within a month after I had surgery, and my surgeon, I saw him twice, and then I also saw my regular doctor. So I'm on the pills. I got 8 pills I take every day. I do take a walk, 3 20-minute walks a day, which is about 3 miles a day. And I'm supposed to start this cardiac rehab probably next week, which basically you do some treadmill and some exercises with your hands and things like that. But overall, I feel pretty good. I'm still a little bit tired, but I think that's from the sleep apnea. I'm in the middle of getting my mask changed in the machine.
It's your daughter on your phone, ringing and ringing, don't you leave it alone.
Anyway, that's about it. I will post some comments or some information on the bottom. Hopefully you'll like this video. And if you have any questions, just leave some comments. I'll see if I can answer them for you. But I'm doing much better. And like I said, I want to do this.
It's your daughter